much improved forecast this time. Last week it was a torrential downpour. Louisville had to wait an extra 15 hours and fell. Pittsburgh is the opponent today. Today's pregame is brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon, as this USL Championship match features a side looking for win number 1 and another looking to get back in the win column after a disheartening defeat a week ago. With Matt Stubbington, Mike Watson, when you listen, Matt, to John Hackworth this week, yes, the defending needs to be better, but if they executed in the final third better in other phases, maybe they wouldn't be talking about that right now.
Absolutely. If you put the ball in the back of the net, it takes the opposition out of the game, and you don't really have to worry about the defense as much. The execution all over the pitch has to improve. Otherwise, it's just going to be continuing to be frustrating for coaches, players, and fans alike.
Our player with the most potential tonight is sponsored by Corsair Charities, showing children their potential instead of their obstacles since 1923. Our eyes on George Davis.
A player with vast experience, a huge talent, a huge leader for this team. It's going to be so important for him to step up to the plate and really fulfill that leadership role to make sure that the ship is corrected and put on the right path.
Kind of funny to say potential for a guy who has more appearances in this league than anyone else. Speaking of a guy who's been around the block, Canardo Forbes has won a championship with Rochester back in 2015. All eyes on him again tonight.
Absolutely. John Hackworth probably put Canardo Forbes' name on the scouting report first. He has a huge respect for this player, saying he's one of the best in the league. He's a tremendous athlete, really busy on the pitch, has the engine and the motor that leads this Pittsburgh Riverhounds team and finds ways to put the ball in the back of the net as well.
Well, Bob Lilly's side very rarely goes 4 games without a win. It's a team in their 20th season, second year under one of USL Championship's most notorious coaches. Louisville City, is it personnel? Is it tactics? We'll show you. They're going to try a little bit of everything tonight. Louisville, Pittsburgh are coming up next.
It's a simple truth. There is no better place than where you are right now. Celebrate the moment. Feed the wolf.
More athletic, more refined, more sport, more utility, more performance, more traction, more confidence. Toyota has taken the all-new RAV4, the best-selling SUV in America, and redefined what an SUV can be. Introducing the all-new, completely redesigned Toyota RAV4. Now get $1,000 finance cash on any new 2019 RAV4, or a low-mileage lease on this RAV4 LE for just $209 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
We are those searching the unlimited, the unrestrained. Those that understand that life is a pursuit. Feed the wolf.
Complaining about your allergies won't make them go away, but calling Family Allergy and Asthma can. We offer the most effective treatments available to help you find relief. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Since 1923, Corsair Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles. So they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support Corsair Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith is off. He's in the lead. He's heading to find Wines, and oh, an outstanding choice there. Mike's going to go wide, but he's heading into Bourbon Turn, and it's Justified. Gaining ground to Craft Beers, but wait, he's stopping for a taste at the line. It's Mike Smith for the win.
Hello, Chad.
Good to see you again, Mr. Smith.
Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Welcome back to tonight's pregame. It's brought to you by GE Appliances. Tonight's on-field game sponsor with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts on hand. Louisville City and Pittsburgh Riverhounds just moments away from kickoff. And let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. They're presented by UPSjobs.com. How about Louisville's back line? Whoa.
Big changes. John Hackworth trying to shake it up a little bit, make something happen on the pitch. And with that, he's brought in Taylor Pay and Sean Francis in the back line. And then Mbaki Jump getting a start tonight. He's an exciting player, the rookie coming into the lineup in the front line. For the visitors, Bob Lively, he wants more possession from the team, so he's going to try and get things set up. He'll look for James and Dover to get forwards on the flanks. There's Forbes up in the front three. Dos Santos and Brett have to find some way to get some offense going, because from that position, the Riverhounds have not scored.
Luke Spencer standing over the ball in purple for Louisville. It's black and gold, as is typical for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's always had good success in Louisville. Will it carry the day? Will they find their first win of the year? Will Louisville get back to their winning ways at home? We find out here tonight in the beginning of week 5 of the USL Championship. Ball knocked ahead towards Spencer. Louisville wants to be sharp from the very beginning. Rasmussen, and kicked away by Joe Greenspan.
First thing I immediately see, Mike, is that the outside backs for Louisville are a little bit more conservative as far as their decision making going forwards. That's where the goals have been coming from the positions vacated from the left and right fullback position. Tonight it's Jimenez on the right fullback and Sean Francis as the left fullback. As those players go forwards, if possession is lost cheaply, then the opposition just plays the ball into that space that's vacated, and has been exploited pretty well by the opposition this season so far.
Tonight's first half is brought to you by El Nopal Mexican Cuisine. Be sure to visit any of 27 Louisville area locations. La Fiesta starts here. Proud partner, Louisville City FC. Good chance for us to take a look at the weather tonight. Is much better than it has been these last couple of weeks, with board-certified allergists serving 16 offices throughout Louisville Metro and Southern Indiana. Relief is always nearby at Family Allergy and Asthma, the official weather sponsor. Louisville City, visit FamilyAllergy.com. 71, nice and temperate weather for April.
The only thing you could say that was good about the weather last Saturday was it probably washed some of those pollen out of the atmosphere, so the allergy people were not quite as busy this week, but nice to see the sun shining and the shadows on the pitch.
Given away by Francis, he'll drop back. Tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program. Matt, for Pittsburgh, you want to see them counter quickly.
Well, if they can get the ball quickly and win the ball in transition, get forwards quickly and counter against Louisville, well, they're out of shape, and that's what has been the problem for the home team so far this season. And for Louisville, it's just making the right choices all over the pitch. And then when you do make those right choices, make sure that you're composed, especially in front of net, so that you are able to put those chances away that you create.
Greenspan was there to defend. Pittsburgh will at times look like a 5-back, at other times will look like 3 when they get Dover and James upfield.
Those are 2 key players for the Riverhounds, trying to create width, and if they are able to get forwards, then that will keep Jimenez and Francis at bay as well. And that's part of the choices that John Hackworth is wanting his team to make, is the decision-making process for those outside backs as to when they make the decision to go forwards. Can't both necessarily go at the same time, especially if your team doesn't have the clean possession that's needed going forwards.
Louisville the last 4 weeks would beg to differ. Seems like they've gotten their outside backs flying up the field. Francis too far. Wale will watch that out.
Well, Louisville, the last 2 seasons, they've had their outside backs going flying up the field, but it's what happens when you lose the possession of the ball. And you think about the first goal that was scored last week. It was a ball won at the halfway line, and then there was no pressure in the midfield. The ball was delivered out to the right flank of, or the left flank of Louisville. Jimenez was up the pitch, and there was a lot of space to be exploited. And it could be argued perhaps that's where Louisville are missing the captain in that middle area of the pitch, because he's the one that normally makes those challenges.
This portion of tonight's broadcast brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Trying to fight this off, and Dijon goes to ground. For Louisville, they're without Paolo Piccolo. Every week, John Ackworth says they feel like they're going to get him back, and they get to Wednesday, and he still hasn't progressed enough to go through the width of training. Inflammation continuing in his midsection. Meanwhile, Brian Ownby could be out as long as 6 to 8 weeks, we were told, with an LCL injury. And saw doctors this week, and that's both to the attacking core and the midfield core, devastating couple of injuries.
Definitely are, and players that you do not want to be without. And Del Piccolo in his own right, you hope to see him back quickly because of what he does bring to the middle third. But Ownby, just from a personal standpoint, he had such a tough year with injury in 2018. You hope that the recovery will be a quick one this time around. And all the ligaments in the knee that you can damage, the LCL is probably one of the easier ones to recover from. Not that you want to see any of them messed around with.
John Ackworth took over 18 games before the championship winning conclusion of Louisville City's campaign a year ago.
I remember when he came aboard and said, we are absolutely not going to concede a goal this week. I'm wondering whether he's thinking back to that and whether the changes that he's made today are part and parcel of that same attitude.
He used the term, we've been giving goals away like candy when he arrived. And I'm sure Bob Lilly feels pretty similar about that. You could call it Lily Ball, you can call it whatever you want, but there is no stingier team in USL Championship than one coached by Bob Lilly. Led Rochester to a title in 15. He's been a professional coach now. He's a head coach for 18 years. His second year in Pittsburgh, and got them their first ever home playoff game last year. Head through McCabe, and he'll run all the way through.
I always feel that Bob Lilly gets short shrift as far as the focus being on him being a defensive coach, but when he has the personnel that can score goals, they're pretty good going on the offense as well, a Bob Lilly coach team. It's understanding, you talk about Lily Ball, it's understanding when to put the pressure on, and that's what makes it so difficult to play against, because it's not always going to be high pressure or low pressure. It's a mixture of the two throughout the game, and that makes it difficult to adjust. And again, talking about choices being made, John Ackworth wants his team to adjust on the fly. And that's what you want from your good players, and make those changes that are needed on the field. It's going to be a real challenge tonight against the Riverhounds.
Let's come all the way to Ben Lundgaard. This is his second ever start, and to be totally fair, it's a broadcaster's nightmare tonight. It's Lundgaard on one side and Ben Lund on the other. So don't adjust your TV monitors.
On the plus, they're goalkeepers and they wear different uniforms from everybody else, so even I can tell them apart.
Spencer cutting in, and well recovered by Thomas Van Kiesel, a Frenchman who was once Division II Player of the Year in the collegiate ranks. Taylor Pay knocks it over, his first start in Louisville uniform. Guy that Danny Cruz, a Louisville assistant, knew quite well from time together in Salt Lake City.
It looks like the Riverhounds are going to be defending in a 4-1-4-1 lineup. The two central defenders for Louisville get the ball spread out wide, pass the ball between. Forbes is stepping up to put the pressure on, or Dos Santos, and then the four midfielders just flatten out behind and take away the width that Louisville are trying to find with the ball out easily to Jimenez or to Francis.
Turned over, and there's Canardo Forbes. It's knocked aside with Velarde pushing through. It's his first professional start. His fourth professional appearance, 15 in Pittsburgh black and gold.
Almost sprung himself free there. That ball came through. Had a nice little touch with the right foot. It was well read in the end by the defender.
The Adewale running George Davis all the way to the byline.
So let me introduce you to my right shoulder about that challenge.
This is the most physically imposing team. Lundgaard there is 6'5", and he's not really towering over anybody on his team. Greenspan is 6'6". Dos Santos is 6'4". Adewale is 6'3". Oh, I don't want to run into this team in an alley. 10 minutes gone. Not much to show for either side in the final third.
George Davis IV would say not only is he 6'3", but he's also got a bit of broadness to his shoulders as well.
George has managed a good career at 5'8".
That is the beauty of our game. You don't always have to be the best physical specimen in the world to play it. But if you have good technical and tactical speed as well, you can do a decent job.
We don't have any of that. That's ball knocked down in front of Dover, and Baki Cham trying to get it free. There will be a throw for Louisville upcoming. And Sean Francis, the Jamaican international, stepped forward for it. Velarde threw his foot in, comes free. Forbes for a moment, and taken away by Davis. This is Strzok trying to lob the keeper. It's poked over. Oscar Jimenez going from 40 yards away. And Lundgaard just enough to keep that out.
Tell you what, when Jimenez struck this, I bet he said to himself, I've done him. Well won by Davis IV. There was the look up. Great footwork in the end from the goalkeeper to get back to his goal line, spare himself his blushes, and tip that one over. That was great imagination from Jimenez.
Corner in the 12th is caught by Lundgaard.
Ball played into a good area, but nobody was making that run across the face of the goalkeeper. In the end, it was easy for Lundgaard. He'll be breathing a sigh of relief that he was able to get back to his goal line. That was a wonderful long-range effort from Jimenez. As the ball goes out, Forbes unable to keep it in.
And Louisville got playing again with that Select ball. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. Many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. That's another turnover in midfield by Louisville, and Pittsburgh going to try and make New City pay for it. Gets underneath Canardo Forbes' feet. McCabe goes back.
That's the first time McCabe or Rasmussen have touched the ball. The Riverhounds are doing a really good job with that bank of 4 players in the midfield, flattening out and not allowing the ball to be played through to either McCabe or to Rasmussen. So it may be that John Hackworth inverts the triangle and brings one of those players back alongside of Speedy Williams, try and give that player some support, so find a way to get the ball up the pitch more.
Nico Bratt went for the cutback. So skip toward Adewale. Finally, it'll come all the way to Loon.
What's your name? TC.
Baki Cham, it's lost between the feet of Sean Francis. Francis will come back to recover.
I'm not sure Bucky Cham and Sean Francis even had the same book in their hands, let alone being on the same page. Love the defensive presence there Santos just stepping up. That's what Bob Lilly does so well, coaching his players. You see the low press from the Riverhounds. McCabe trying to find an option going forwards. And now all of a sudden the Riverhounds swarm around, win the ball, and then get forwards quickly together as a team if they're able to break the pressure and bring it back over to the near sideline.
Pay. Ball whisked onward by Jimenez, but taken away by Ryan James. And now Adewale going back. Should be a throw, and it is really deep in Pittsburgh's end.
Well, Ivanke Azil had an opportunity to pass that ball forwards, chose to go back into the left back area. That allows Spencer to put the pressure on. Louisville lock things down and keep the ball in their offensive half.
Spencer pushed down edge of the area. Clean play from Ivanke Azil.
Lovely control there from Spencer. That ball in the air. Big number 9 does. Beautiful control. Not only is it a chested control down to his own feet, but he turns underneath the ball as well. For me, that could have been called. See why it wasn't, but certainly seen free kicks given for challenges like that.
Swahi. McCabe, it dropped in. Pretty remarkable how Baki Jam and Davis have both at times come further behind than their corresponding fullbacks.
Trying to find a way to get between the lines, trying to find a way to get the ball to feet. Again, that's tantamount to the 4 banks of 4 players that Bob Lilly is employing defensively, dispersed with the 1 player linking the defenders and the midfielders together. John Hackworth, maybe he's wondering what his team has to do to score. He's had a few games this season where his team have done a really good job possessing the ball, getting forwards, creating some opportunities, only to see themselves on the wrong end of the score sheet.
Nico Brett's come away with the ball. Tabo trying to post up in the area. Plenty of gold shirts have entered. James has it onto his left. Header back across the face of goal. A little ricochet out. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Republic Bank. Sun-splashed Slugger Field. Scoreless between Louisville and Pittsburgh. Both teams that are a bit beneath where they expected to be probably at this time of year. Pittsburgh is yet to pick up a win. They have led in 2 games and ended up with draws where they actually had to come back from a goal down. Louisville's had 2 defensive implosions. Also 2 pretty good results. 6 points through 4 games. Ball ahead, chance now for Pittsburgh. Dos Santos gets bowled over, and he's waving his finger back at Greg Dobka, the referee. It's going to be a corner.
Well, this was set up by a fantastic clearing header from Greenspan. Jumping into the line, heading the ball forwards. And there could have been a foul called there. It looked like Pay had his arm on the back of Dos Santos as he turned to run for the ball. And then it looked like he was bowled over in the penalty area. Again, I've seen them given. Dos Santos has a case there, Mike.
Nardo Forbes assisted not 1 but 2 goals in the 2015 USL Championship Cup final. From this corner, headed away, and this struck on the volley and runs into a wall of traffic. Well, not that corner, but, you know, the near left corner in Rochester. Come to Ryan James, who's part of the Rhinos side in 2016 and 2017. Was a bit of a surprise starter for Nashville in 2018. James, former draft pick in the 3rd round of Sporting Kansas City. Brett, there's a little width here for Velarde. An all-time assist champion of the Pac West. And kicked too far by Mo Dabo.
That corner came in. It was an important clearing header. I think it was from Taylor Pay. It was Greenspan was lining up a headed effort on goal. Payne managed to get his head on the ball first. It's got a little period here from the Riverhounds, though.
McCabe, Rasmussen, all the way to Greenspan. He was first team All-USL last year and would surprise nobody at all if he was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist or better this year.
He scored this season as well off a set piece. Always an important target on anything set piece wise the Riverhounds are sending in, and 6'6" and leaps like a salmon on that occasion. Mr. Dobka saying that not in the appropriate way. Kind of fell down the waterfall as he was trying.
That sounds like a Paul Childism to me. He struck too far. And there's a little limp there in George Davis as he grabs for the right backside of his thigh. And now he's going to go down. To be frank, Louisville just cannot do with any more injuries. Sonny Johnny, it's unclear when he'll return. He picked up a knock in Atlanta before going on international duty and still isn't quite right. I'll give John Hackworth a lot of credit. In talking with us throughout the week, he makes it pretty clear where guys stand injury-wise. It makes our lives a lot easier.
Looks like the old hammy was twinged there. That does not feel good. Hopefully it is just a twinge and nothing more. George Davis IV is certainly in a lot of discomfort, and the look on the head coach's face says it all. Not another one. I can't afford to have yet another key player go down. And looks like Lucky Onkasana's coming on. Not what you want to have happen as the head coach. Having to make a substitution through injury at any point in the game, and certainly not even midway through the first half yet. Luke Spencer coming over and having a word with the head coach, gets a little thumbs up from what was said.
Well, Davis, the first player in USL Championship history to 200 appearances. Reached that midway through last year. Substitutions brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. And Nkosana makes his fourth appearance in a Louisville uniform.
So he's going over onto the left. Bucky Jarms coming to the near sideline to take the spot of Davis IV. We saw it last year, though. Boys in purple had to deal with injuries in the early part of the season, but we know how the story ended. They came good in the end. So John Hackworth will hope that the story comes good a lot sooner with all these key players dealing with problems on the injury front right now.
And Vanke, he'll get this away from Rasmussen. In the end, bounds away to Forbes. Red upfield, Dos Santos trying to pull it through. Bob Lilly's side coming off a 2-2 draw against Bethlehem, who knocked them out of the playoffs a year ago. Flicked ahead, Rasmussen will give chase. That's deflected outside the penalty area, and Ben Lundgaard has to kick that away. Chance there for Pittsburgh to get possession, and will feel a little bit foolish how they gave it away.
Adewale doing a good job of shielding Rasmussen from the ball. What happened with the goalkeeper, I don't know, but again, spared the blushes.
Spencer sliding along, Rasmussen, Baki Jam, and finally stuck in, and now foul Rasmussen going through Vanke's heel.
Kasana was in acres of room, Mike, on that left flank. Great work from Spencer to win the ball. Van Gisel overruns it. And that was great work defensively there. Dover coming in, and at the last second, forcing Rasmussen back to this near sideline. If only the Dane could have got a little bit better of a touch. Kasana was in all kinds of space.
Well, there's been talk about the importance of decision making in the final third, and to be fair, I'm sure it feels like, you know, a hive of bees coming at you, all things considered, because Pittsburgh could so constrict that space. I don't know that many players would have been able to look up and find the other side.
Well, Dover just came in so quickly, forcing the issue. Rasmussen doing his best to keep possession at the top of the box, but as you said, he was swarmed. And the Riverhounds able to clear the lines.
Say I enjoy these uniforms a lot better than the Pittsburgh alternates for the Steelers, for what it's worth. Fans follow the Riverhounds and Louisville City FC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN+. Watch the championship and League One live every week. Sign up today, ESPNplus.com. Comes out to James. Dances it onto his right foot. Back to Adewale. Field by Greenspan. Van Gisel has found James running onto the ball and sliced back across. Velarde gave it an effort, still loose. Shot is high from Nico Brett. Did deflect en route. Corner coming, Pittsburgh.
Well, that was all hands to the pumps there. Again, Greenspan involved in the build-up, finds Van Gisel. He finds James on the flank. The ball in was a good one, and just last-ditched effort there from Williams, I think, forcing the shot from Forbes up and over.
Forbes. Speared backward toward Dabo, followed by Speedy Williams. Off of Williams. Throw for Pittsburgh. 4 goals in 3 games for the Riverhounds. Their forwards have come up with 0 of those. They've got some really talented guys. Nico Brett, Steven Dos Santos, Christian Valesky, available off the bench. Over Velarde, further now by McCabe. Bounce toward Brett, will come off Kosana. And steered into width by Spencer. And now Menez has it blocked. Adewale.
Nice positioning from Adewale. You can see what Jimenez was doing again. Kosana on that left flanking room. Jimenez was trying to bend it in around the back line. Adewale anticipating that cross. Gets into a great position, blocks it out for the throw. There's a rotation with Louisville right now. Mike Rasmussen's going up forwards more, and McCabe is dropping back alongside of Speedy Williams a little bit more. Spencer's coming back defensively as well, or into the midfield area, I think. Those players just trying to find a way to rotate and get between the lines.
There's a push there at Rasmussen that's probably unnecessary. The grand scheme of things. Foul conceded by Greenspan. Dangerous spot for Louisville.
Get a yellow card as well by the looks of it. Completely unnecessary. The defense had done their job, stopped Rasmussen in his tracks. Spencer's dropping back, plays the ball into Rasmussen's feet. In the run of play, it seemed as though Rasmussen went to ground a little easier, but from that low angle there, you could see Greenspan with both arms on Rasmussen, forcing the Dane to the ground. Not a surprise with the yellow card, though.
Yellow card presented by Four Roses Bourbon.
Can only assume the position on the pitch and the potential for a goal-scoring opportunity, perhaps.
Maybe Nico Brett will take it. Not quite.
No, not this end.
He's sizing it up. Well, you got Jimenez and Mkosana and McCabe nearby.
I think it's going to be Jimenez. Well, McCabe's marking it off as well.
Is Lundgaard going to be put under pressure here? It is Jimenez, and he won't make this Pittsburgh side pay for what could have been a foolish foul. As we near the half-hour mark in Louisville.
I was watching McCabe mark off his steps as if he was getting ready for a conversion and a rugby game. And in the end, it was Jimenez who puts the ball over the bar. But in this sport, you don't get any points for putting it over the bar.
Greg Dopka has walked over to Bob Lilly, apparently trying to settle this out.
Fourth officials, William Gathia at the third. Apparently he's been getting an earful as well. Mr. Dopka taking the earpiece out so he's not getting it in stereo.
This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Sullivan University. There is no stone that Bob Lilly has ever left unturned. You read the local Pittsburgh media coverage of the team, and there's trialist trackers more so than transfer trackers. He's found guys in indoor leagues, playing overseas, the college game, guys that may be aged out of being draftable in MLS, and instead you get them at the USL Championship level as a steal. Charging forward, Nico Brett. Brett was a trialist last year, ended up scoring 15 goals for Pittsburgh. Feathered forward Van Kieziel. Took an odd hop, and before Dabo got to it, run out to Adewale. And now odd man opportunity for Louisville. This is too far, and Spencer's grabbing his hamstring. And the wheels might quite literally be falling off here for Louisville City.
He's going into the ground, and the look to the bench said it all.
Ownby and Del Piccolo are both out for the foreseeable future. Sonny Johnny is out week to week. And now Davis and Spencer have both come up lame, grabbing the back of the upper halves of their legs over the course of the last 15 minutes.
The other thing with this, though, mate, is it's not something that you mess with because it can be so difficult to recover from. You see George Davis IV there, hand to his mouth, looking on. And Sean Tosh is going to be coming in as Luke Spencer's going off. 2 injuries in the first 33 minutes of this match, both to the right hamstring.
First thought mentally, and tell me if I'm onto something tactically. Move Francis up high, Jimenez to the left, Tosh to the right, and then maybe put Mkosana as your forward and have Francis be your winger. Is that a thought, maybe?
That could be a thought, but I think back to last week when Francis came in, John Hackworth went with a 3-4-3 lineup. Perhaps he'll go with that. Sean Tosh has been playing as a centre-back through most of his career in Louisville. So we'll have to see what happens here. McCabe is one of those wonderful players that can pretty much go anywhere on the field. Rasmussen has been playing as a more of a forward role.
Substitution brought to you by MHS Global Above and Beyond. And now it's time to put on those tactical specs, Matt, and try and and diagnose. Usually it'll take a minute.
Tosh is slotted into the midfield. Kasana is in the central midfield, center forward role.
Rasmussen, Fred Kasana, rounding the keeper, goes down in a heap. And Lundgaard able to grab it. A dangerous moment there for Louisville when things were looking fairly bleak.
Well, this is a great recovery from Louisville as they're trying to find a way to figure out what their lineup is. This is a great ball played forward by Rasmussen. Lundgaard comes out and makes a good, brave save down at the feet of Lucky M. Kasana. Greenspan was not goal side. He was beaten by the run. Would have been tough for Lucky to get that ball on frame from the angle that he was being forced to, but Lundgaard did really well coming up with that ball cleanly.
Brett going to get by cleverly. There's advantage played. There's none to be given. And this time Jimenez is the one who's hobbled.
Brett's going to get a talking to. Tosh is in the midfield for sure.
If I'm Greg Dopka, I'm saying Louisville doesn't have anyone else. I mean, come on.
Give him a break. Seemed rather innocuous in the end.
Agree.
Louisville are still staying with 4 in the back. Yeah.
As Davis and Spencer both using up all the ice on the bench far earlier than anyone had anticipated. Both going off with apparent hamstring injuries. Attack on here, Velarde playing it low in pursuit of Dos Santos. And recovered by Dover. Vanke Yazil on a 50-50 ball going in. Baki Jam extending his arms out, knocking Dover to ground.
Right now, if you're the Riverhounds and Bob Lilly, you want your team to really step it up, force the pace, force the issue. And Louisville reeling from the injuries to Spencer and Davis the fourth in the lineup that they're unsure of at the moment. If you can really get the ball and keep possession and put some pressure on before the half.
Headed down, Brett in pursuit. Popped up and caught on the clearance. Played direct, Greenspan as far as Dover. Run to Sawahi, followed by Dos Santos. Dos Santos punching the air, whistled for a foul.
The reaction is more in frustration with himself than perhaps the whistle, because he knows that he gave up a corner kick there with that challenge, although the wag of the finger might say otherwise. Mr. Dobka explaining things to him. It's just great work from Dos Santos, putting the pressure and forcing the mistake from Suahi, who was conceding the corner kick until he was upended.
Oh, he's not having it. Neither, of course, is Greg Dopka. He's had a couple of warnings at this point.
Greg Dopka wins every time.
And the fourth official is back with Bob Lilly, to be fair. Tosh will knock this over toward James. Bouncing down to Brett. Ryan James across the halfway line. And Dos Santos pulled by Sawahi. And Pittsburgh will bring a few more irons for the fire. Quick restart. Velarde slipping it ahead. Right-hand side. Played through. Dabo way over Scouse's house and out.
The angle was difficult. I love the fact the Riverhounds take this free kick quickly. Louisville got caught ball watching at the end of last week's match to lose the points Dabbo, that was a really tough opportunity from beyond the near post. From the angle of his body, he would have done brilliantly to even get that one on frame.
Flicked upfield, McCabe will give chase, comes to Rasmussen. Lining this up through by Williams, and Kosana pops it up. Deflects back to McCabe. Recovered by Van Kiesel. A guy who's predominantly known on YouTube as Thomas V, which would be a much easier name to attempt. This will run all the way out to Ben Lunt for Louisville. Hey, get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Pittsburgh or Louisville or your favorite USL championship team. Then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on your next match. Go to ESPN.com. Click follow for your club. Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts, glad you've chosen to follow this match. Pittsburgh entering the week in a tie for 8th in the East at this early staging post of the season. It's game number 4 for Pittsburgh, game number 5 for Louisville.
Lily feeling that Sean Tosh should have been called for a foul there.
Rasmussen, McCabe, Kosana making a darting run, and the header is high. Speedy Williams came in the back door after Kosana cleared out all the traffic.
It was a lovely ball served in. I thought for a moment we were going to see a Louisville version of the Adam John goal from last week. Speedy Williams got the dive all wrong. Ball looks like he hits off the top of his head, goes over the top of the crossbar. And the best opportunity for either team in this first half goes begging.
James for Velarde, who's had good moments working that right-hand side. Dos Santos off the outside of his boot. Pittsburgh a win and a draw at Slugger Field last year, including a 1-0 win that saw Canardo Forbes tuck home the game winner. That was Louisville's 3rd loss of last season. Trying to avoid that same marker. Well, it would be about 2 months earlier than a year ago. Forbes strides into the ball. It's behind Dos Santos.
John Hackworth might have found a new role for Sean Tosh accidentally here. There's a long way to go in this game, but I like what I've seen from number 4 so far. It also allows you to keep him on the pitch, along with the experience of Suahi and, or athleticism of Suahi and Pei.
Ran away from Kosana. To your point, Sean Tosh was once upon a time a tryout player in Rochester for Bob Lilly, one of 46 to try out, and he was the one. He signed in 2015, won the title, eventually on to Louisville. Foul conceded by Lou City. Taylor Pei wagging his head.
Well, that's one of those frustrating ones for us defenders. You go up perhaps he was a little over the top of Nico Brett, but Brett never left his feet, never challenged for the ball, and makes it look a lot worse than it actually was. As Pei ends up going for a piggyback ride. And this is a great chance now from the set piece for the visitors, with half-time looming.
Well, it'll be either Forbes or Brett. Both prolific goal scorers over the years. In moments like this, Forbes known for his lethally deadly left foot. And now he's looking like he'll want to take this with his right if he does at all. Your eyes sort of popped at the size of the wall there.
Well, it's tough for Lund. The ball is central. He has to find a way to...
Brett set right into the wall. He gets taken out. Oh my goodness, another foul, and about 5 yards difference this time around.
Well, this is a better angle actually for the shot.
Yes, it is.
The central location makes it very difficult for the player shooting the ball to decide which way he's going, and that just was a silly challenge from Kusana, turning his back on the player. And this will favor a left-footed shot, you would think, towards the far post of Lund.
Stoppage time is brought to you by Sullivan University. 3 additional minutes separate Pittsburgh and Louisville from halftime. The Riverhounds looking for a go-ahead goal before the break. This time it's Velarde.
Ironic cheers from the Scousers' house.
Is that what that is?
Mixed with a little dash of relief as well.
Velarde, first professional contract, said it was crazy what he's been working for since he was 10 years old. He said when he got the call about going to Pittsburgh, he was at the zoo with his daughter. Sort of described as a crazy place to find out. Well, struck on a half volley by Baki Jam. And Lundgaard will take over. He's an interesting story, too. Pittsburgh over the years, Matt, is always, we'll juggle goalkeepers, find one mid-season and run with it. Kyle Morton stuck around from last year, had a season-ending knee injury a year ago, didn't play a single game 2017 for Rochester as the third guy. Lundgaard, on the other hand, had a season-ending thumb injury last year, was on loan with Indy 11 from Columbus. Columbus picked up the option on his deal and then sent him on a season-long loan now to Pittsburgh, but a former first-round pick in MLS.
It's great that he's got the opportunity, and one of those injuries, season-ending thumb injury is not one that you normally hear, but when the thumbs are so important to your position, it's good to see him back and getting the chances that the USL Championship provides for these players.
Well, and is there any position that needs minutes more than a young goalkeeper? Out of Wallay pushing off of Rasmussen, firing it out.
Where you can get the experiences between the pipes.
Velarde, nice run forward. Sprays it out to Dos Santos. Defender came forward, crossed by James. Dover stepping by, sliding in. Sawahi gets upended. And Dover's arms extended. It takes us to the halftime whistle. Well, 0-0, and Louisville's down 2 substitutes as well.
Well, you see that Spencer in the foreground, Josh Davis at the fourth, speaking to the athletic trainer. Both players holding the right hamstrings after trying to run onto balls, but other than the injuries, I think John Hackworth will be very relieved to get to halftime with a 0 on both sides of the score ledger. Had some ebbs and flows to this game. Both teams have been effective on the attack, but not found a way to get the ball in the back of the net.
They unmasked that man earlier. I saw him, I swear. The horse mask has come off. It's scoreless here at halftime. 2 teams that have been, well, leaking goals. anything but. Couple Louisville injuries, lowlights through 45. Highlights and more are coming up.
We're in our Toyota Highlander. Got amazing V6 power.
Very stylish. We can, go off-roading if we want to. And we've got 5 USB charging ports.
Room for 8, including us. You know what that means? Honey, we've got one at home. We could have many more. What do you say?
As soon as you can start having babies, I'm in.
What?
Now get $1,500 cash back on the built in the USA Highlander. Or get a low mileage lease for just $259 a month.
Toyota, let's go places.
Introducing Papa John's new Ultimate Pepperoni, the pizza pepperoni fans have been craving, with 30% more pepperoni than our traditional pie, over 3 signature cheeses. Try all 6 new specialties and get any large for just $12. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
You know that coffee shop where people stand in line to pay twice as much for a cup of coffee as some other places? It's not always the lowest price that wins. It's the perceived value. Not every business has to compete based on price. At WDRB Media, we can show you how to brand your business, how to be more efficient with your media placement, and how to be more effective with your results. Give us a call. I'm Marty Hazel. If you knew what we know, you'd have called us already.
It can't be. I'm not ready. I do spin class. What? The refrigerator? Oh, come on. Do you know how much this cost me? This is killing me. Let me rephrase that.
Your refrigerator, air conditioner, water heater will all die sometime. When they do, your homeowner's insurance won't cover them. Be sure your budget's protected with an American Home Shield home warranty. We help cover the cost to repair or replace components of your systems and appliances, no matter their age. Limitations and exclusions apply. Home systems and appliances will eventually die. Count on American Home Shield to get you back up and running.
Oh, the air conditioner too?
Be sure your budget's protected. For free information, call 1-800-709-9436. That's 1-800-709-9436. Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield.
Introducing Papa John's new Ultimate Pepperoni, the pizza pepperoni fans have been craving, with 30% more pepperoni than our traditional pie, over 3 signature cheeses. Try all 6 new specialties and get any large for just $12. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by Game On Mouthguards. Louisville City and Pittsburgh Riverhounds scoreless, and it's a beautiful night in the Derby city of Louisville, Kentucky, with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts. When you think about Birmingham, you might think about their new team, the Legion, and you might think about how they celebrate goals. Well, they haven't done that yet at home. Certainly they picked up a couple against Louisville last week. Sometimes you have to forge your own goal celebrations, forge your own path forward. Kelsey Steele has more on that.
If there's one thing with USL Championship clubs, it's that they have a way to make the experience unique to their clubs. I'm on site here at PBVA Compass Field in Birmingham to talk a little bit about this iron factory they have on site. I'm joined by Marshall, the director of metal arts at Sloss Furnaces. So, Marshall, first off, tell us what an ingot is.
Okay, so an ingot is basically just a unit of iron.
Okay.
So it's just a way to make the iron portable and mobile and in a manner that can be sold.
Okay.
So the process that we're going to be doing in-game is a little bit different than the casting process. This is a forge setup. So typically used for blacksmithing. You're typically not trying to completely melt what you're working with. You're just raising the temperature enough that it can be malleable.
Okay.
So what we're going to be doing throughout the game is taking one of these in our forge and getting it up to temperature red hot and having that on standby so that when we score a goal, we'll take it out of the forge, over to the ingot, and we have a special die with a spark on it off of the Legion logo.
Right.
And that'll be placed on it and struck with a hammer. It's a 2-man operation. When we're ready, the assistant will take that. They'll take the die and put it in place, and and then the other person will strike it with a hammer. So each goal that's scored will get a mark, hopefully a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so we have one for each game.
Okay.
So to have the team that they're playing, and so throughout the season, throughout the years, we'll begin to accumulate these and create an iron wall back here with each ingot from the games.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
How cool is that for people to come in too and kind of see this little, you know, characteristic of Birmingham?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hammer down! You know, they can tell how hot the steel is by the color.
Got it.
Burning up, red hot.
Well, thanks, Kelsey, for your Steel Report on Steel with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts. Tonight's halftime report brought to you by Game on Mouthguard, scoreless between Louisville and Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at some USL news and notes. The linear package of the USL on ESPN returns this week. I'll be with Devin Kerr for Memphis and ATL UTD2 on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News. How about El Paso going out and signing a guy with a ton of experience in Jerome Kieswetter? Send it in, Jerome.
It's fantastic to see a player of his quality coming into the championship. We've got so much experience throughout this league. That's just another key part to the puzzle, and it's going to be a huge find for El Paso and what they're planning to do going forwards. And then, talking about experience, then you have Abraham Rodriguez, the 16-year-old, getting Player of the Week for his fantastic performance against Phoenix last weekend, and just a tremendous moment for the young man, even saving a penalty kick in that game.
And then the next day, he signed a homegrown player contract with the Colorado Rapids. Coincidence? I think not. Let's take a look at scores from around the league with our Commonwealth Credit Union Roundup. And the Eastern Conference is a busy place here today. Nashville blowing out Ottawa, finally looking like a team deserving of their high billing. Bethlehem, a barn burner with Swope Park. 4-3. St. Louis has taken it to Atlanta early, and St. Louis has quickly become one of the surprises of the championship this year.
Coach Perlis is doing a fantastic job in St. Louis, coming over to the Eastern Conference and sitting atop at the table at the moment. And if they keep playing the way they are, they will be there for a while longer. And that's going to set things up nicely for your midweek game with Atlanta United 2 against Memphis, because they're right on the borderline of that playoff picture right now, even though we're so early in the season.
I'll actually say it. I think Atlanta's not going to be a happy camper the way things are trending. April 10th, we'll have ESPN News coverage of Memphis and ATL UTD2. Back to ESPN 3 for Austin and Phoenix. Austin with a sellout in their home opener. And ESPN 2 will be the home of May 8th's game at Nashville against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Well, it's halftime now, as all games in the championship are on ESPN+. So too is this one. The second half is coming up in moments. We'll have highlights from the first half and stats when we return.
This 2019 Toyota Tacoma offers V6 power to play hard off-road.
I gotta say, even though the Tacoma has legendary off-road skills, here we are on Main Street, and it's just awesome, really stylish.
Very comfortable. You've also got your multi-info display.
Right now, I'm charging my phone wirelessly.
I like that, and I like getting $1,000 cash back on a built-in-the-USA Tacoma.
Or a low-mileage lease for just $219 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Complaining about your allergies won't make them go away, but calling Family Allergy and Asthma can. We offer the most effective treatments available to help you find relief. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Since 1923, Corsair Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles, so they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support Corsair Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith is He's in the lead. He's heading to find Wines, and oh, an outstanding choice there. Mike's going to go wide, but he's heading into Bourbon Turn, and it's Justified. Gaining ground to Craft Beers, but wait, he's stopping for a taste at the line. It's Mike Smith for the win.
Hello, Chad. Good to see you again, Mr. Smith.
Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life.
Forget festivals. Have you been to a Rallies and Checkers Feastival? The headliner is tender, juicy steak for $2.49. We're talking Philly cheese steak on a juicy burger, smothered in cheese. Steak covered in French onion sauce and crispy onions on a sizzling beef patty and toasted bun. There's even steak loaded up on fries and melting with cheese. Everything's covered in steak. That's how you know it's a Feastival. The Feastival of Steak, just $2.49 each. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Well, that's a glum face, and for good reason. Luke Spencer, last year part of the triumvirate because of his injury, was the leading coach of that three during Louisville's mid-season spell without a head coach. He's injured again today, picked up a knock on that hamstring. Updates as we get them with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts. First half highlights. Louisville, for moments in this, did look like the aggressor. 12th minute, Jimenez, whoa.
Saw the goalkeeper Lundgaard off his line and tried to embarrass the keeper. Lundgaard did really well to get back and tip that one over the crossbar. Probably one of the two real bright spots for the home team. This was a bright moment for the visitors, though, and I think perhaps Hay and Suai are a little lucky that the referee didn't blow for a penalty kick, as Dos Santos getting on the end of a wonderful clearing header from Greenspan. A couple of set pieces from both teams in the first half left a lot to be desired, and some imagination in the box. McCabe lining up the cross, and there was Speedy Williams with a great header coming in late, or a great opportunity, I should say. The header wasn't so good. It goes high and over the crossbar, and he knows that that was one that should have been in the back of the net. And then the visitors, again, from their set piece, not threatening the goal at all. Some disappointment there from Velarde as he rubs his head in frustration. And statistically, it really doesn't surprise me. 61% of the possession to the home team. They certainly had a lot of good possession in their attacking half. The shots, nothing on target from either team, and that really tells the story of the first 45.
Today's stats and facts are delivered by Liquor Barn, now delivering. Download the Liquor Barn app or order online today, liquorbarn.com. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedules for these sides. Louisville in a stretch of a lot of home games right now. They are playing back-to-back home games at present. They'll go away to Tampa Bay next week and then return home to take on Ottawa and Memphis. There are no free points, Matt, in St. Pete, but Ottawa and Memphis, given what we've seen from them, you expect to come away with 4, 5, 6 points.
Well, certainly you would be hoping to, and especially with the home field advantage that Slugger Field does provide for Lou City. That's certainly going to be some things for Lou City to think about, especially with the injuries picked up by Luke Spencer and George Schaefer's the fourth. John Hackworth will have to find ways to adjust his lineup. And then for the Riverhounds, it's going to be interesting. Hartford Athletic, they're at the bottom of the conference at the moment. They've got to find a way to get some points on the board. And it's not going to get any easier next week against the Riverhounds.
So this the final of 4 straight road games for Pittsburgh. Then they get 3 at home. Boy, are they looking forward to that. Let's take a look at our VisionWorks what to look for in a moment. First, how about Pittsburgh's inability to hold leads? They led twice against Bethlehem, never finished it off.
I'm going to have to find a way to finish off games if they are going to make it into the playoff picture. But the good news is they don't have a lead to defend at the moment. They've got to find a way to get the ball in the back of the net. And for the VisionWorks, here's what to look for as we head into the second half of play. For Louisville, with all the adversity with the injuries in the first 45 minutes, they've got to maintain their focus and keep playing for each other. The decision-making processes of the players was much better in that first half. For the visitors, force it, force the issue. You've got a team on the ropes with the injuries. Try and force the pace of the game. Take it to the home team and see what happens. Maybe something good will come of it.
Well, with all of Louisville's injuries, they may be hiring privateers moving forward. It's a team that's lost 2 to injury today and are without 3. Would typically be in their 18, if not their starting 11 on most days. And so with 5 key players out, we'll try and figure something out in this second half to stymie Pittsburgh and pick up a important home win in the flow of the early stages of the season. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Luna Azul Tequila, the official tequila of Lou City. Luke Spencer there on the near side of the bench. And George Davis also picking up a lower body injury in that first half. Dos Santos goes flying into the boards.
Just wonder what, if any, tactical changes or tactical substitutions John Hackworth will make with the players that he has available to him. It's going to be certainly interesting as the game progresses, and John Hackworth will be hoping that he can make a tactical substitution, but what that will look like.
Well, not as simple as it once was, is it?
Absolutely not.
I was asking him last week about the substitutions they made against Birmingham. They had made 3 attacking moves. Birmingham had made really 3 more defensive-minded subs. Louisville gets the equalizer, and you kind of think you would be pushing forward for that last goal, and it ends up biting them a little bit in the end.
Well, he had made the change and went with 3 in the back when he brought Sean Francis in and went with the 3-4-3, and that led to the tying goal. And then with the personnel that he had, Sean Francis was a natural slot back into the 4-back system.
Pinged up to Dos Santos, head on a swivel, curling cross. Not that time. Baki Jam. Rasmussen slides down, covered by Van Giesel, and striding forward, Forbes deflected aside.
As the defenders are backing up, he thought Forbes might actually go with a thumping shot. It looked like he was trying to chip that ball through. City doing a much better job of getting players behind the ball when they lose possession at the halfway line. Quicker to recover defensively.
Headed backward, maybe a second look at this. Everybody slips down on the second ball by Dabo. And Louisville charging the other way. And Kosana has no idea where it is. The fans are waving him in their direction.
He wasn't even looking at them.
Taylor Pale run all the way back. And it'll be a goal kick here. The Muhammad Ali International Airport in Lou City have teamed up to give away tickets to any of Fly Louisville's 30-plus nonstop destinations. Look for your chance to win by following Fly Louisville or Louisville City FC across social media platforms. And if I do say so myself, I went to Louisville for the Cup final last year in November. At the time, I don't think it was officially Muhammad Ali Airport. I think it was announced that it would be. But what a fitting name for a gateway to a city than the greatest. I know you're a boxing fan. I know you can appreciate.
Oh, what a great man. Great ambassador for not just the sport of boxing, but just life, the universe, and everything.
Humanity, right.
It's like he should have his name on everything.
Cross whipped by Dos Santos to run all the way out. The museum there is outstanding. Anyone that goes to Louisville for the first time, or maybe you live in Louisville and you haven't seen it before, the museum is really inspiring and sort of awesome to see. Velarde swiping it through right to Luke. Last year they had the Cup final pregame press conference there, and Didier Drogba was asked what he knew about Louisville, and he said, the only thing I knew about Louisville before I came here was Muhammad Ali. Dos Santos Searching ball, ran right by Brett. Forbes was a late arriver too.
He'll be disappointed in the shot, Dos Santos, but he puts it in the right area. Trying to go towards that far post. Hoping for either a touch towards the goal or maybe a player running in at the back post to get a touch. Certainly after the referee's whistle went to start this second half, it has been the visitors that have been on the front foot, and that's what I was looking for them to do coming out of the locker room.
Well, for those of you who just flipped over from the Final Four, yikes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling anything. Nope.
Go on, mate, go on.
I've learned to stop breaking news in my young age. Thanks for taking your turn with us here. USL Championship action. Corner kick ahead for Louisville City. There's the service. Lundgaard. As far as McCabe. Louisville recycle the ball. Collision, another corner for Jimenez as he is met by James.
James does well with that. Could easily have conceded the foul. Mr. Dobka saw something that he didn't like.
Jimenez over Baki Cham. 6'7" Joe Greenspan got there first, as he typically does. And that can of corn will line out of play.
Makes it tough when you've got the tall trees in there that the Riverhounds have to deliver a cross that's effective from the set pieces. And Jimenez will find a way. There's none better in the league delivering the ball from the dead ball situations.
Comes to Forbes. These teams will play the return date of their season home and home on September the 7th in Pittsburgh. Emko Sana, that back pass is unbelievably short-sighted. Lundgaard did enough. There are times when you play Pittsburgh where you just think the team that makes fewer mistakes is going to win, more so than some moment of individual brilliance.
Well, I can't imagine that that pass was meant to go to the goalkeeper. I think it was meant for Greenspan, and Cassano read it all the way. Lundgaard was a quicker reader and came out and did brilliantly with it.
Away by Tosh. He sort of moved inside a little bit here. So maybe that three-back is in play a bit. Another look at the last chance here. You're right, read it like a book.
Caught between two stools there was James. He looks up in the direction of the goalkeeper, Lundgaard, but was he trying to find Lundgaard, Adewale, or Greenspan? Only James couldn't answer that question in the end. They'll be cleaning the boots of Lundgaard after that mistake and the fact that the goalkeeper came out so brilliantly.
Pittsburgh felt they were a little too direct in their last game, that they played into Bethlehem's hands just a little bit. It'd be easy to consider that Pittsburgh could be road weary. They're starting with 4 road games, including a rematch of their Eastern Conference quarterfinal loss a year ago. And if they do get a win here in Louisville, we would argue that picking up 5 points from 4 road games is not a bad outcome. Rasmussen kept it alive. Baki Cham looked to send it across, and it's off of Dover, corner Louisville. I do like what Lucky Mkosana's doing, leading that front line. We've seen him more out wide.
It gives him more options. He can spin and go in either direction to the corners. We know that he's got pace to cause problems. And this is his moment. I mean, coming in as replacement for injured players, it's a great chance for him to make a case for himself to stay in that starting lineup.
Jimenez off of the human ball magnet. This ball cycled back and wide.
Well, if that had gone in, we'd know what was goal of the week.
Yeah, Rasmussen's had a very creative start to the year, but this is something different.
He knew what he was doing right from the get-go. And the goalkeeper was beaten if this is on target. It's a difficult looping effort. And Lugard will be thankful that that went wide of the target by a couple of yards.
I wonder if he picked that up with the Danish futsal team. He's picked up some moves over this offseason, Rasmussen has.
Those futsal balls, though, don't get up that high.
Greenspan will tee it up. Dabo. Dover. Dabo again. Over the top, Brett was in pursuit. He's careening out to Tosh. Rasmussen did a great job there, and now Williams trying to unleash McCabe. Took out a sign, kept the ball in. A bad day for 8:40 a.m. Their signs have just gotten thrashed today. Maybe that's just good placement. And Dos Santos goes to ground.
That was a lovely turn from Dos Santos. John Hackworth will be thankful that another Louisville player on a long sprint for a ball, in this case McCabe, didn't end up holding the hamstring. There was the turn from Dos Santos, and then Rasmussen trying to get back on terms, just dragging his foot across the heels of the number 8. Easy call for Mr. Dobka.
McCabe. Kosana surrounded by 3 gold shirts. Tucked in by James. Covered by Speedy Williams. Jamaican trying to knock that long diagonal. Found Mbaki Jam. And the rookie out of UConn slides to ground. Finally, Velarde has taken it, only for a moment, off of Francis.
Trying to figure out whether Bob Lilly has made a tactical change, trying to be more aggressive with his formation. Velarde has certainly been going further up the pitch on occasion.
All the way through, Pratt. That was a dangerous potential high boot from Pay.
Certainly Brett was asking for it. It was an important challenge from Taylor Pay to win that ball, because Brett was in on frame if he doesn't.
Off of Velarde, comes down to one of Nico Brett's former teammates, Robert Morris, Speedy Williams. John was looking for Nkosana.
Defensively, it still feels like it's a 4-1-4-1, but once the Riverhounds do have the ball, they are pushing players further up the pitch more quickly.
Brett and Williams finally do collide. It's not the first time they've played each other, but I'm sure there is something that's a little unique to playing your old college teammate. Hailing for Jamaica. Luke, quick distribution. Well, we're nearing the hour mark now. No question, win, lose, or draw for Louisville. There's been a lot of collateral damage. Injuries to George Davis IV and Luke Spencer. After injuries over these last few weeks to Sonny Johnny and Paulo Del Piccolo, Brian Ownby. Forbes plays it through, chance, no! Flag is up, it went off the post from Brett. It wouldn't have counted.
Well, Bucky Jam gets the ball taken away from him as he's surrounded by 3 players. Nobody has an option to pass the ball to. And then the Riverhounds just get forwards. With a lot of players. Forbes has the ball, dribbling the ball, never challenged by Tosh. And that must have been a really close decision. As Nico Brett uses the outside of the right foot to beat the goalkeeper, but not the post. Oh, that was close. I thought Sean Francis was keeping him on. But I'm not the man on this near sideline with the flag. It was the best opportunity the Riverhounds have had this game.
Meanwhile, Jordan Dover appears to be the player over there having his nose examined. Ball from Kosana as far as Williams. Rasmussen tried to glide by with it, slides it ahead. Kosana. Bucky Jam. Bucky Jam knocked off the ball. Dos Santos with a thoroughly impressive challenge.
Not bad for your centre forward.
Who's up and who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com.
Over his back, taking this throw in. Bucky Jam there trying to take too many touches on top of the box. Undecided whether he was going to take the shot or not.
Headed back again, and Lundgaard will get this from James.
Gives a thumbs up to James, but he might have a word with his outside midfielder after this match about these back passes.
Lundgaard kicks it away, and no one there. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Game On Mouthguards. Pittsburgh and Louisville scoreless in the 63rd. This game impressively airing on the CW in both Pittsburgh and in Louisville, as well as on ESPN+. Two cities that know how to support their local professional side. For what it's worth, since Louisville entered the league, Bob Lilly's teams, Rochester and now Pittsburgh, and Louisville City have both finished in the top 4 every year in that span. So to say this is a clash of powers, despite the early season difficulties, is far from an overstatement. Forbes. Tosh. Francis. Fasano went down to his knees to steer that wide.
Continue to be impressed with Tosh in his new role as the holding midfielder. He's done a pretty good job of filling in that spot. As McCabe, Rasmussen, and Williams try and rotate to support Nkosana.
McCabe, the overlap came, ball across, deflected by James. Jimenez has won a corner, one which he'll surely take himself. Jimenez with 10 chances created. That's the final ball or the shot this year. That's most on Louisville, 4 off the league high. Oscar Jimenez pounding toward Tosh.
Jimenez found a way to deliver a ball that wasn't going to be challenged by Greenspan and the like. Good little short driven ball curling into the near post. Caused problems for a moment. The Hounds did well to get it away. That was a nice build-up leading to the corner, and good defense as well. James knew exactly where the ball was going to be played. He had seen the run of Jimenez, had to be patient in the way he approached his defending, and communicated really nice with Adewale.
Side by Dos Santos, Forbes gives it a thought. Down shifts, Brett out wide, James. Rico Brett now, danger from anywhere. Weaving it forward. Oh, Luke got a piece of that to Rob Dos Santos. Best look for Pittsburgh all night.
Awkwardly dealt with by the goalkeeper, but it was effective. All started with Forbes making a darting run into the box, which is what he does so well, taking players with him, creating the space at the top of the 18 for that cross to be delivered.
Ensuing corner. Pittsburgh can be very dangerous. Forbes caught by Luke. Vankiazil underneath him. Well, you look at options for Pittsburgh off the bench. Ethan Cutler, Christian Valesky, and Kevin Kerr. Could we see Robbie Mertz make his pro debut tonight? For Louisville, they've used 2 subs already, Tosh and M. Kosana. For Davis and Spencer's first half injuries. McMahon and Craig defenders, D and Matsoso midfielders available off the bench. Francis. Greenspan boots away.
I don't know a lot about Matsoso or D. Just see if they do come in.
High hop, headed away by Dover. Kosana's looking back to the referee, wondering just how he got to the ground. Corner coming. That ball took a really funny skip.
To be patient, the defenders. Bodies hitting the ground. Thankful to concede the corner kick. See what Jimenez does with this one. Only go to the near post again.
All the way through. Did Tosh get his head to that? It is a goal kick, one would imagine so. So let's look back at why Louisville is in such dire straits in terms of availability. This came inside the first half hour, Davis the 4th, and then a very similar run. Luke Spencer came off around the 37th minute.
Both of them doing the sympathy on the sideline. Ice on the hamstring. So some strapping on the right thigh of Luke Spencer there. I always call it doing the sympathy because you got an ice pack and somebody's going to ask, oh, what's wrong with you?
Rasmussen popped up to his feet in the way that Greg Dobko weary. Francis. All the way to Lundgaard.
Overcooked the ball, served in, trying to find Kasana. Corner kick from Jimenez, delivered towards that near post area again. Tosh with a great effort to get across the face of the goalkeeper. Second time tonight though. Louisville not able to direct a free header onto the frame.
Dover by Dos Santos, handled by Luke.
Louisville haven't had a shot on target yet in this game. The Riverhounds only the one.
Someone with Opta needs to rethink that chip from Jimenez earlier. That was going in, no?
Yeah, I mean
Hey,
They're not counting it as a shot, I
no.
suppose. It was definitely on target.
I think Lundgaard's even going, yeah, I got that. I know, I got that.
Give me credit for the save, please.
If I had to defend the corner, it is a save. It is a foul here for Dover.
The jump laid out. Dover wanted him to get up, but the rookie's not quite ready. Long ball played forwards. Lucky jump. Look at the concentration from the youngster. Watching that ball the whole way in. Clean header on it. And the next thing you know, he's upended and laying on the ground looking at the stars.
Well, this is a Louisville City choose-your-own-adventure. Something happens here, save, a goal. I'll spare you our commentary on ESPN+. Otherwise, buckle in. Free kick, 71st minute. Bob Lilly pacing by the Pittsburgh bench. Greg Dopka tries to separate the enemy combatants. Dover's got his hands up. He and Rasmussen have been playing a game of 71-minute peekaboo. Jimenez steered away. Trouble coming. And off to the races comes Pittsburgh. Velarde. James! Luke made the stop. Follow-up, kicked aside. Penalty! Brett goes down. Sawahi's got his hands on his head. And Pittsburgh have a chance from the penalty spot. Take a lead.
Sawahi cannot believe it. This was a wonderful counterattack. Velarde still down. Patient, knew that he had Dos Santos. Jimenez and Williams trying to shepherd the ball over to Dos Santos because they knew they could make the play over there. James did brilliantly to come up in support. The save from the goalkeeper was wonderful. And then the challenge and the whistle. Velarde is up, still in obvious discomfort. Lunt made the fantastic save from the counter. Can he make one from the penalty spot?
Well, what say you here?
Well, I can see why Sawahi thinks that he got all of the ball, but when you come in from behind the back hip, the referee is going to make that decision in the favor of the attacking player. You can see it from both sides, but that won't matter to those fans behind that Louisville goal. They'll be hoping that Lunt can come up big once more.
Chance for Pittsburgh to jump in front the 74th. First chance on a penalty for Lunt between the pipes as a pro. Goal! Brett! Pittsburgh leads. His first this year after a 15-goal season in 2018.
Well, with the celebration, he won't make any friends in Louisville. But the kick was taken with authority. Little look to the goalkeeper's right. Fools the goalkeeper. I thought the ball was a little bit more central down the pipe than it was. I'm not guessing correctly, but the power beat him. The way this game has been going, it might be the difference maker. Chances have been hard to come by on frame. Really, it was the goal that counter-attack from the corner absolutely deserved. Although it wasn't the way that it should have been scored. It should have been buried in the run of play by James.
Foul and a yellow to James. His first booking of the year.
I wonder if John Hackworth, with barely 15 minutes left remaining in this game, will go to 3 in the back, as we saw last week. Francis was on the pitch from the start of this game, and he was put up into a wide midfield spot to try and get that attacking role, get the tying goal last time out.
Yellow card brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon. Ryan James is the first player to pick up a yellow card in this second half. Greenspan picked one up in the first. High arcing service is well out of play, off the deflection. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And as we're into the final 15 minutes, Pittsburgh will go to their bench. That's enough for Anthony Velarde's first pro start.
I think he's accounted for himself very nicely.
Robbie Mertz will make his first pro appearance, a Pittsburgh native out of Upper St. Clair and a Michigan Wolverine. MHS Global bring you the substitutions here for the Riverhounds.
Experience coming in the form of Kerr. Bob Lilly will try and see this one home with the goal advantages that the Riverhounds have.
MHS Global bring you the Kerr for Brett sub. Corner Louisville. Rasmussen header is caught by Lundgaard. Make no mistake, though, Pittsburgh has given up 6 goals this year, Matt. 3 then in the final 10 minutes.
The offensive power that Louisville do have, they are perfectly capable of getting back into this game. It was an ambitious effort from Rasmussen. Tosh was trying to run across the face of Lundgaard to disrupt the goalkeeper. Wasn't quite able to do enough, as Miki Amkasana is going to get a yellow for that challenge on Greenspan. It's easy to identify Greenspan on the deck because nobody's really tall standing left up. Perhaps for the high arm. Other than that, I didn't see anything wrong with that challenge. Definitely the left arm was up in the face of Greenspan.
Sanu came on for a 4th time in 5 Louisville games as a substitute. Goes into the book for the first time for Louisville. I think it'd be far too soon for anybody to hammer the panic button for either team, regardless of result today.
If the teams were playing badly, then yes, but the teams are playing well.
Brought down by Bakijam. Steered away from him. Hey, fans, head to Twitter. You can vote for tonight's Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates VisionWorks Man of the Match. It's going to be open for the next few minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/Lou City.
Like Mertz took out Kerr on that interchange. Sean Tosh has dropped into the back line of Louisville. Sean Francis is going further up the pitch in the wide left midfield position. Kerr does really well to ride that challenge for a Mertz. And really unfortunate. Hurt by your own player, but it's going to be interesting now to see how Louisville responds, with Tosh dropping back more defensively. Pay split right, Suhai left. Jimenez and Francis will be pushed further up the field.
Paco Craig is walking toward the fourth official. And if you want to talk surprise, how about you and I when we saw the lineup with his omission? Chance for Taylor Pay to get his first start in purple.
Just wonder where the change will come, though.
Well, something had to give, didn't it? Pittsburgh, Kevin Kerr, who had started the last game, came off the bench today. Other than that, same lineup that drew 2-2 in Philadelphia against Bethlehem last time out.
Looks like Craig might be coming in place of Suai. John Hackworth trying to come in with some experience off the bench.
John Hackworth shouting for Alexi Sawahi to come off. Paco Craig gets a requisite applause. Comes with being twice USL Championship Defender of the Year finalist. Craig for Sawahi, presented by MHS Global, above and beyond.
He's not joining the back line, though. He's straight into the midfield.
One has to wonder how much frustration there is in this Louisville group right now.
McCabe is looking over at the bench, wondering what the tactical formation is. Asking for some clarification. Francis is back at left fullback. Lou City still look to have three in the back.
Dover tries to turn Francis. Dover touching outside. James. Cabe is backpedaling under the pressure. Dover. Cabe looking to restart immediately.
Confusion, the whistle kept blowing. McCabe tried to start it quickly. It looked like it was going to be called back for a moment, and then it wasn't. And at the moment, there's some confusion reigning. And at this point, Louisville do need to keep that focus. McCabe again looking over at the bench, wondering exactly what his role is. Seemed to be a very happy camper.
Turned over by Williams. Didn't have much support. James. Throw Pittsburgh. No love lost right now between these sides, is there?
Frustration that Louisville are feeling as well. It's not making things any easier.
Craig is essentially up front trying to pull balls down when they come to him more direct. And another Louisville foul.
Sana's going to have to be careful here. He's on a yellow. That was a rash challenge into the side of Adewale. Throwing the hip from behind the player. These are all moments that get away from Lou City as Pitt will just take their time as far as restarting play, make sure the shape is correct before playing the ball forwards.
For Louisville City, they play again at home 2 weeks from today, Saturday, April 20th at 7 p.m. against Ottawa Fury FC. Tickets available at LouCity.com by calling 502-LOU-CITY. Next week on the road to the always difficult Al Lang Stadium. Pittsburgh, 3 consecutive home games ahead each of the next 3 Saturdays. Hartford, St. Louis, and Nashville. 2 playing like world beaters, and Hartford just trying to get on the board. Thank you, Zeal. Not that I think anyone doubts that Hartford will eventually get it going. It does feel like the 3rd straight week where Louisville has faced a team with a hint of desperation. Hosting Hartford, winless. Hosting Birmingham, goalless. Kerr ran all the way to Loon, and now Pittsburgh were winless coming in with such high expectations. Instead of M. Kasana, Rasmussen, James. And John Ackworth wants to know why the call seemed to go one way on the other end of the field than it did there. Rasmussen, M. Kasana, Craig. Craig did well to turn on that at all. Rises into the air for it. Dos Santos with the high lone pressure. The odds of Pittsburgh dropping points in the last 10 minutes, 3 games in a row, given last year's history, are somewhere between slim and none. Yet Louisville still trying to pound the rock here late.
One thing that you can guarantee from a Bob Lilly squad is that they do learn their lessons and making the same mistake. Again, that'll be a big surprise to me. However, we've seen it from Lou City before. Late drama, late equalizers.
Cabe went down. Cabe, Williams, finally ball on the ground. Minutes and stoppage to go. Comes down to Lundgaard.
Another booming goalkeeper's clearance from Lundgaard. A little surprised that Mr. Dobker is not having a word. Asking the goalkeeper to speed things up just a little bit. The Riverhounds at the moment just relieved to get the ball into their attacking half and as far away from Lundgaard's goal as possible. Yellow card coming now for Rasmussen. More frustration for the boys in purple. On the plus side, there'll be some more minutes added at the end of the game. A rash challenge running through the player. Frustration evident for Rasmussen, asking for play to get going more quickly.
band. Just poked down by Dos Santos. Louisville did go 5 without a win at home, 1 point last year. However, this will be the first back-to-back losses, if it stands, to Louisville City in franchise history at home. We've entered stoppage time, brought to you by Sullivan University. 3 added minutes.
John Hackworth is asking the fourth official how there's only 3 minutes to be added, considering that play was stopped for a penalty kick to happen. We've had 4 substitutions in this second half. A goal scored and some players down with injury. At the end of the day, mate, you got to make sure you put the ball in the back of the net within the 90. You can't rely on the stoppage time at the end to try and find a way to get the tying goal. It's another booming defensive header from Greenspan.
Tosh outwitted Steven Dos Santos just a bit. The try and score from Cape Verde. Sliding in, Craig calling for possession. He's won it here. Time for Louisville to start throwing everything forward. We've heard that old adage, a loss is a loss. No matter the scoreline from John Hackworth. Pittsburgh punch one home on the counter and send everybody home. James, surely take this a bit deeper. And Kosana steps in. Throw Pittsburgh. Minute and change to go. As it stands, this is a really well-played game by Pittsburgh. And had Louisville frustrated from the get-go, something they do with as much success as any team in USL Championship. Goal kick and one more chance for Louisville City, perhaps. Points been dropped all over the table. Pittsburgh's left a handful on the ground. Louisville potentially leaving another 3. But no one's running away with the league, and it's been a topsy-turvy start. Pay. Caught just near the edge of the penalty area. That was dropped before he went out. And if he did, it's not by a lot. Lundgaard got away with one. Second ball lobbed over the top, headed backwards. Lundgaard collects. And Pittsburgh should be able to see this out.
He's been nervy on occasion as the goalkeeper, but this was great awareness from him, knowing that he was at the top of the box. And the final whistle does go.
Well, Greg Topka's not going to be anyone in Louisville's best friend tonight. A penalty that I'm sure some view as controversial among the Louisville contingent. And that late chance that could have given Louisville one more opportunity. Tonight's man of the match is Magnus Rasmussen. It's presented by VisionWorks. And he had some good moments, but it wasn't enough for Louisville tonight.
Wonderful player. Had some good moments, but he'll be frustrated that, again, it wasn't quite enough to find a way to breach the net of the opposition tonight.
Pittsburgh is on the win column finally, and their 4-game road swing is over. We'll wrap it up when we return.
At Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, I focus on taking care of my family, but I also focus on taking care of your family. We firmly believe that you've got to give back. Our primary goal is to do what's right for the patient. If that means glasses, contacts, or treating an eye condition, we will be sure you get the care that you need. We want to take care of you the same way we take care of all our family. This is our family. And here at Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, we're focused on your family, the community, and most importantly, your vision.
At Boone's Butcher Shop, family-owned means 70 years of expert customer service. With over 3,000 square feet of specialty cut meat, sauces, and seasonings, Boone's is your meat destination. Boone's Butcher Shop, right down the road in Bardstown.
After 30 years, we've learned that car crashes without a lot of visible property damage can cause serious injuries to the body. When someone is rammed from behind by a multi-ton steel vehicle, it does not take a significant crash to cause permanent damage. Disc herniations, disc bulges, nerve root impingement. These forever injuries can require hundreds of thousands of dollars in future medical care. We see it time and time again. If you've been in a car crash, call us at Pound Law, Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Tired of the winter blues? Need a break from your daily grind? Ready to press pause and make time for you? Escape to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and let the calming surf, soft sand, and warm sun do the work. With amazing deals all along the coast, it's the perfect time for a seaside getaway. So make time for you. Visit Myrtle Beach, where happiness comes in waves.
Boone's Butcher Shop has the freshest daily custom-cut meats at unbeatable prices. With Kentucky's largest display of meats and specialty items like stuffed and marinated pork chops, Boone's is your meat destination. Boone's Butcher Shop, right down the road in Bardstown.
Well, fans filing out of Slugger Field. For those making the couple-hour trek back to Pittsburgh, they leave with 3 invaluable points, and Bob Lilly's side again stymies Louisville on their home field. Louisville's lost back-to-back home games for the first time. Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts. Let's start with full-time highlights from this affair. Louisville at times did look like the aggressor in this game.
We had some good moments yet again in the match. This one was the first from Jimenez, challenging the goalkeeper, Lundgaard, who did just enough tonight. He had some nervy moments. In the end, he was able to get his feet back underneath him and underneath the crossbar to make the save. A moment of controversy perhaps in the first half. Dos Santos thought he had a penalty kick to be awarded. In the end, it was just a corner. And then on the other side, this was a brilliant moment. And these are the ones that have to be put into the back of the net, at least on target. Williams with a free header after the delightful service from McCabe, high and over the crossbar. And then the spectacular. The goalkeeper was panicked, but it was just wide. It was a wonderful, imaginative effort from Rasmussen beyond the top of the box. And that really does illustrate the night that Lou City had. The Riverhounds, they found a way to get forwards on the attack. Brett with the outside of the boot. Lovely skill, beats the goalkeeper, but not the post. Or the linesman's flag on this near sideline. He was just offside, a really close call. And Bob Liddy's team had some good moments in the second 45 going forwards. Lunt with a wonderful save at the back post. The service coming in, Dos Santos, who was bright all night, almost putting that one beyond the reach of the goalkeeper, but not quite enough on this occasion.
That gets us to the 66th minute, and then first a save, but then penalty, yay, nay, Swahi going in.
Well, you can see why it was given. Swahi from behind the player. Velarde with the ball at his feet. Swahi going in on the challenge. It was a wonderful save from Lunt on for the counter-attack, but he could do nothing about the penalty kick. Brett with his first goal of the season with aplomb with the right foot, puts it into the back of the net, and that was the difference tonight. The one goal from the Riverhounds, and out shooting Lou City by 11-6. They also put 3 on target, where Lou City struggled to find 1 on frame. And we did argue whether Jimenez was getting credited for his or not. But either way, it would have been too little for Lou City tonight.
Today's stats and facts are delivered by Liquor Barn. Now delivering. Download the Liquor Barn app or order online today at liquorbarn.com. And now a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. It's the attempted bicycle from Magnus Rasmussen.
It was ambitious. It was spectacular. In the end, it was just wide of the net, but it certainly would have been a contender for goal of the week, if not the month, if it had gone in. Rasmussen, the player of the game tonight for the home team, frustrated that his team couldn't find a way to get the ball into the back of the net and find a way to get some points out of this match.
Well, the last 12 months have been good to Pittsburgh at Slugger Field as they've come away with 7 points from their 3 appearances here. Louisville falls to a surprising start to their season, and now they could be down as many as 5 players next week to injury. Pittsburgh, their first win. For Abe the Truth, Aponte, Jose Blazo, Gates Tillotson, and Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts saying so long. Pittsburgh a winner, Louisville falls. Thanks for watching. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.